Hey, what's up, everybody? So, there's a secret that the wealthy don't want you to know. And I'm going to expose that secret here in the next couple minutes. But first, I'd like to explain a couple things. Number one, if we are valuing ourselves by how much paper we can stack, there's truly no value in that. Now, there's a term that's probably going to be popularized, and it's that gold and silver is God's money. You see, the reason why gold and silver is so precious is because it's a superconductant material. And that superconductant material makes basically electricity flow through it better than any other materials on the planet Earth. Now, there's a couple other ones that are pretty good, tungsten, and some that are even, more precious and even more finite. But we'll just stick with gold and silver because right now, all your electronics, even this phone that I'm using right now, they're being laced with gold and silver in order to make the motherboards work, in order to make the electricity go through efficiently, so they don't heat up, so they don't get... And so basically, that's literally what the essence of it is, and that's why we call it God's money. Now, we're going to get on to the secret, like I said, so let's get to the secret. You see, the country was going into debt because we have a country that's ran by a bunch of children, and that's what's going on right now. But this is not a new thing. This was happening far, far long ago, before anything that's happening nowadays in 2022. So I don't want to go too far back, but maybe we'll just say a couple things of history. So, everyone knows Abraham Lincoln. He did not like the way that the monetary system was set up because he wanted the people to own the money, not the bankers. And I'll explain that. And so he invented a thing called the greenbacks. And a lot of people forgot about this, but he was shot for that. Now, later, down the road of history, another guy came along, which you all know, by the name of JFK. Now, when Kennedy took the office, he made an executive order, 11110. Please look this up on Google, because then you'll understand why everything is so screwed up right now. So this executive order was to print silver certificates. And those silver certificates were going to be owned by the U.S. Treasury. And in order to do that, what he had to do was he had to take away power from the Federal Reserve. The reason why he wanted to take power away from the Federal Reserve is because the Federal Reserve is not owned by the country or the people. It's owned by the private bankers. It's where we go to borrow money. It's where we go to, basically put ourselves in more debt. So when he tried to do that, you guessed it, they shot him. And no, obviously that executive order didn't pass because the bankers are still in control of central banking. And there's not just one person that's in control of central banking. I mean, there is one company that sits at the top of all, and it's called BlackRock. So if you want to look into that, you don't believe me, go ahead and check it out. They literally own more of the earth and everything that we basically value than any other enterprise. But let's stay on track. So pretty much, when he tried to take away power from the Federal Reserve, and instill the power to the U.S. Treasury, what is owned by the country and the people, they shot him for it. Well, then, and actually correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was, I think it was after. No, maybe it was before. My history is a little bit mixed up. But anyways, regardless, Nixon basically came along at some point. I'm not sure if it was before or after, but we obviously can look that up. And he decided that we couldn't afford to keep giving away as much gold as a country had to give in order to keep basically all of our debt and ties with all the rest of the countries, good. And so what he did was he decided to take the gold standard off. And when he took the gold standard off, what it did was it caused inflation. Because instead of using gold, you guessed it, he used debt. And so that's why we're in debt, is because we're not on the gold standard. Now, a lot of people might think, oh, well, we didn't have enough gold and gold wasn't valuable enough, so we couldn't back the money on gold anymore. Well, here's the thing. We could have backed the money on gold. All we had to do was raise the price of gold. But we didn't raise the price of gold because we wanted to fake out the people that we care about so much and want to take care of. Thank you, government. Into believing that the paper was worth more than the gold. Well, that's just silliness. And to further prove my point, if you look into this and pay attention to history, all of them have invested in gold heavily, knowing that this monetary system would collapse at some point. And when it did, they would have bought up all the gold and silver and other precious metals, including all the minerals and land and value and everything else, for much less than it was worth, because instead of buying it with God's money, they bought it with man-made concept money, which is a new term that's going to get popularized, and it's called fiat currency. And you guessed it, that means fake. Fake. The only power that it actually has is the belief that we give it. And that's why our country is so deep in debt. So, like I said in the beginning, the secret: invest in gold, invest in silver, but number one, most importantly, invest in yourself. Because the thing is if you invest in yourself, there's no risk, only reward. The more you know, the more you're going to be able to accomplish. Now, my purpose is to add more value to the people I come across than they could ever add to me. And thank you, Gary Vee, because you really have inspired me with that single quote. And it's changed my life, and actually it's changing others' lives as we know it. I've been working really hard at taking care of that quote. But getting back to the whole point, teaching our youth to work by the hour when they only have 870,000 hours on average to live it's sickening, is what it is. Because if somebody has a skill and they get paid the same for that skill for a whole lifetime and get very little raises, then that's a wasted life, in my opinion. Because the thing is after 2 years of you developing that skill, you could go out and use that skill to get paid for your skill. And so I have people sometimes that I work for and say, oh, well, that's quite a bit of money. And I don't understand why it's that much money, because I know how long these things take to do. And so I just quickly say, oh, well, that means you value time. And I go, well, yes, I do, indeed. And I say, well, if you value time, then you certainly value the 20 years of experience it took me in order to be able to do that task in that short amount of time. And what do you think they say when I say that? They can't say anything because it's the truth. You're not paying me for the hour it took for me to do that work. That would be ridiculous. You're paying me for the 20 years of experience that I have in order to do that work in 1 hour. This is why I set my own prices, and this is why you're going to start setting your own prices, and the world is going to start changing, and people aren't going to be working by the hour because they're waking up. And the reason why we have employees is the same reason why we have slaves, because slaves and employees give us time. We're only one by ourselves, and we can only do so much work, and we only have so much time. Only one person can do so much. However, if one person has a team, they can accomplish a lot more. And so truly, they're not paying you for the work. They're paying you to get back time. That's literally the whole concept. And so I just wanted to make sure that I kind of opened up some people's eyes here, and hopefully you can walk away with new lenses and see maybe some things that might need to be adjusted here in your life, because it's time for us to stand up. And it's time for us to let them know that, you know, we're not weak. We're not stupid. We're actually highly intelligent people that have purpose, but we've been told that we don't by the way that the system is set up. I'm going to end the video here. I might actually add on to this a little bit later. And I'm probably going to put this up in a couple hours or something, but I just want people to realize that there's so much more value to your creativity than your time that you give in order to supply your security. I can honestly say right now at this point, if I had nothing, it wouldn't matter because I have purpose. I can always give people my time, and I can always feel good about myself when I give people my time. I'm inspired to wake up in the morning because I'm happy. I don't need $100 in the bank, $1,000 in the bank, 100,000, a million, a billion, a trillion, as high as it could go, infinity. I don't need that. What I need, me personally at least, is I need to feel that I'm making a difference and I have purpose. That's what makes me get up. That's what keeps me going. And all of you that are watching and subscribing and listening and sharing and telling people these concepts, give yourself a pat on the back, because the truth is you guys are the ones who are helping make the world a better place. And so the only way I can get these messages across is with you guys. So I'd like to express my most sincere gratitude to all of you, each and every one of you. I love you guys all. And that's it. If it doesn't come from love, it's wrong. The purpose of life is to take care of each other in the earth and inspire to add more value to the people you come across than they could ever add to you. This is Gregory's Odd World signing out. You guys all have a good day.